This time on Traveling with Teens, we explore the beautiful Italian city of Venice.
Take a water bus to the islands of Murano and Burano.
And treat our boys to a canal's eye view of Venice we'll never forget. Welcome to Traveling with Teens, and if you haven't been here before, thanks for joining us.
This features our 3-day stay in Venice at the end of our Mediterranean cruise on board the Celebrity Constellation.
It also marks the end of our Summer 2023 series, but if you stick around to the end of the video, we'll let you know what's up next for our channel and all the exciting trips we have planned.
We stayed at the Villa Mabapa on Venice Lido, which we booked through British Airways as part of a flight hotel package. We will leave a link in the description below.
Breakfast was included in the package, and it was awesome. Plenty of fresh fruit, local pastries, cereals, breads, cheeses. There was so much choice.
After breakfast, we made our way to the Vaporetto stop, which was an easy walk from the hotel.
In Venice, the Vaporetto, or Vaporetti, plural, is basically a water bus.
We'd booked a 48-hour ACTV travel card through Venezia Unica City Pass, a website that sells not only tickets for the public transportation system, but also for entry tickets for main attractions and much more. Our 48-hour travel card, which doesn't start until you activate it on your first journey, costs €30 each and was good for as many Vaporetti journeys as we wanted. A single fare is €750, so it's quite a saving if you plan to use it. And staying on Lido, we knew we would. It was simple to activate, and then you tap in and tap out as you do on the tube in London. We'll put a link to the Venezia Unica website in the description below.
We got on the Vaporetto one stop before St. Mark's Square because we wanted to walk along the canal for a bit. They have made this whole area much more accessible now with ramps over the main bridges across the canals. The Vaporetti themselves are also accessible, and the staff seem to go out of their way to accommodate passengers who needed some extra help.
Venice is very busy, but even with the crowds, a visit to St. Mark's Square is a must. The queue for the Basilica was really long, and so we decided to give this a miss and explore some of the quieter churches of Venice. One of the best things about Venice is that once you get away from the crowded areas, you can have streets and bridges crossing canals pretty much all to yourself.
When the heat and the crowds got too much for us, we headed into T. Fondaccio del Tedeschi. Please forgive my pronunciation. It's a high-end shopping mall full of Italian designer goods, such as Gucci. There is a central courtyard selling artisan foods and other goodies, and an amazing roof terrace with views across the city. They also have restrooms, which was the main reason we ducked in there. So this is a good place to stop if you need to.
Walking out the other side, we came upon the Rialto Bridge. There was a popular spot for photos here, and of course there was the ubiquitous queue that forms at any beauty spot nowadays as people clamour to get the perfect Insta shot. There's a great little restaurant here where you can literally lean on the bridge while eating dinner if you're able to get a table.
We walked across the Rialto Bridge and headed towards the market. As it was around lunchtime, much of the market was being packed up for the day. This is a really good area to try one of the local Venetian specialities, cicchetti. These are similar to tapas and can be little open sandwiches or small paninis. They are relatively inexpensive, often between €1 and €3 each, and they're delicious.
Years ago, when I was performing on cruise ships and ships could still dock in Venice and sail right past the main sites, I would be in Venice all day every Monday for a whole summer. I was lucky enough to get to know the city really well. I was adamant the boys should see the Doge's palace and to see the Bridge of Sighs from inside the building. We had reserved our entry tickets through Venezia Unica, which gave us entry on a specific day and after 12 noon. We thought it would be heaving, but we walked straight in. It really is worth a visit, and the history of Venice and how powerful the city was many years ago is so interesting.
After a full day sightseeing, we made our way back to Lido. Showered and changed before heading back out for dinner. We chose a local osteria with some Venetian specialities such as pasta with cuttlefish ink and seafood.
Later on, after gelato, we watched the sunset over the lagoon at the end of another fantastic day.
The next day we decided to visit a part of Venice we hadn't done before, the Venetian islands of Burano and Merano.
Everything we had read beforehand suggested heading to Burano first, as the main crowds of tourists tend to go directly to Murano, as it's more famous and closer to Venice.
We were able to take a boat directly to Burano from Lido. This took about 45 minutes and was included within our ACTV travel cards.
Burano is famous for its coloured houses and lace production. While there isn't a great deal to see on Burano, it is interesting to see how different it is from the rest of Venice. And it makes a nice morning explore. We stopped for coffee and we were tempted to have lunch at the Trattoria al Gatto Nero, which is well known for its fabulous food, but we decided to make the journey on to Murano.
Murano, famous for its glass production, was much busier than Burano. It was interesting seeing the glass factories and the chimney stacks and admiring how it must have all been in its heyday, but we weren't that enamored with it.
Also, we had to get back to Venice and the Cannaregio area for the next stop and highlight of the trip.
I've literally circumnavigated the globe before, we both have, and this was honestly one of the most unique travel experiences I've ever had. I didn't even know it was possible. But when our original standard kayaking trip in Montenegro was cancelled due to bad weather, I googled kayaking in Venice, figuring maybe there was kayaking on the beaches of Venice Lido, where we were staying. But no, this was hardcore. Not kayaking near Venice, this was kayaking in Venice, as in through the canals of Venice. Down a dim alleyway in Cannareggio, you will find a company called Real Venetian Kayak. We knocked on the mysterious-looking metal door, and we were greeted by our guide, Loki. I'm not making it up, that's his name. He took us through a safety briefing, all in perfect English, by the way. You actually launch your kayak out of the back door of Real Venetian Kayak. It opens directly out onto the canals. The boys weren't at all sure about any of this, but our eldest rode with Loki, and our youngest went with me. And well, this is what we saw. It wasn't just the canals. At one point, we went into the open lagoon to get a view of the back end of Venice. At some points on our trip, we had to give way to gondolas. In Venice traffic law, the gondolas always have right-of-way to other vessels. I thought the boys would be jealous of the people riding in the gondolas, but the gondola passengers seemed more jealous of us. The kayak trip was about 90 minutes and cost around £70 each. That's around 85 US dollars. Worth every penny. I put a direct link to Real Venetian Kayak in the description down below, and I'd recommend going straight through their website rather than through Viator, which is what we did. Beth couldn't join us on this amazing excursion, so it was just me and the boys, but it is definitely a memory that none of us are ever likely to forget.
The following day we said our final goodbyes to Venice and made our way to the airport. Once again we made our way to the Vaporetti station, and from here we took a ferry the whole way to the airport. At a cost of €15 per person, this was excellent value and possibly the best way we have ever travelled to an airport. Sadly, this brings our summer 2023 trip to an end. But we're only just getting started on travelling with teens.
Coming up next, Beth is going to Disneyland Paris on her own, without teens. And after that, we are going to Orlando, where we're going to go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party with teens and embark on the Disney Fantasy for a 7-day Halloween on the High Seas cruise. And if you don't want to miss it or any of our next vlogs, then please consider subscribing. It's right next to the like button and it would mean a lot to us. We're very nearly just a few inches away from 250 subscribers. And so next time on Traveling with Teens, Beth goes traveling without teens and without me to Disneyland Paris.
There I get a bit too emotional and end up getting stuck on Haunted Mansion and having to be evacuated. See you next time!